welcome back to Gekko Gaming. We're back with another civil war. These things have been happening left and right all over the game. You guys seem to really dig the stories to understand a little bit of the oversight of what's happening in these kingdoms. And so let me tell you guys the story of 225. Before we start though, I'm a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms. If you like the video, make sure you're liking the video. And of course, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell to get a notification because we upload Rise of Kingdoms content every single day. And it feels like every other day we talk about civil wars nowadays because quite frankly, they've been happening all over the place for many different reasons. This one is not a mightiest governor one, but rather a personal situation. I'm going to start off this video with a big disclaimer, and that is when I go into a kingdom where there's a civil war, what I try to do is I try to get in touch with as many people as I can get in touch with from leadership of both alliances, if there is a possibility of that, and try to figure out what exactly is going on. The way I come up with what to tell you guys is not everything that I'm being told is the truth. A lot of you folks out there who I cover think that I took a side because I didn't tell that little detail that one or two of you told me about, which nobody else did, and so it makes no sense. The way I cover these kinds of things is by talking to as many people as I can, taking the common denominators out of all of these, and then piecing together what I understood happened. There's no capital T truth. Spoiler alert. Those of you who are like, oh, he didn't tell the truth. Truth is a subjective thing. There is no real truth because what you see from one angle is completely different from what the other person saw from a different angle, even though you're looking at the same exact thing. This is not math. This is not something that's empirical. It's an opinion thing. And when it comes to human beings, everybody has their own. So with all this being said, Kingdom 225 is one that you guys might have remembered because it was Dragothian's old kingdom. It's his project that I don't know exactly what happened with it. But what I can tell you is there is this man, Junichi Rain. Now, Junichi is someone that I personally don't know. And therefore, I cannot assess whether or not whatever is being said is true or not because I don't judge people that I really don't know. That negative title on him tells you pretty much the whole story. Junichi, from my understanding, not only from the 225 folks and this story, but also conversations that I've had within the community in the past where his name has been brought up, is not an easy individual to be around. Some folks are a little harder to be around than others. By the way, W225, 7.8 billion power alliance, is going up against S225, show against our, something like that, and this is an 8.5 billion power alliance. These guys are going at it, and it turns out that at some point folks in 225 got to a point where Junichi is running one alliance, the other rest of the folks that are in the other second alliance are running that. Skywalker, I believe, is the leader of one, and Junichi is on the other one. There was some internal issues in there where Junichi wasn't going to give up alliance leadership, or it was a personal situation. It was a personal relationship that caused a very big rift within 225. It caused a situation where two alliances really turned on each other for very personal interrelationship things within a kingdom and within the personalities within the kingdom that caused this issue. Now, I can keep going into detail onto, like, thoughts about things like these, but I actually want to give you guys an example from my own experience. I told you guys in the previous Civil War video we did that in Kingdom 58 back in the day, the reason my alliance, which was SOC at the time, lost control of the kingdom was because Hai took over it. What I also briefly mentioned was that the highest, strongest alliance got disbanded. That's how he took over, and then Hai was created out of those who decided to make a new alliance. The reason the biggest alliance in Kingdom 58 at the time disbanded, and by the way, some of these reports are really crazy. Solo hits on a flag with 800,000 troops, which positive trades is actually nuts. These guys have some very interesting setups going on, that's for sure. positive trades on 800,000 compared to 224,000. That's actually fairly nuts. But anyway, the alliance that was there at the time had a leader that was just incapable of being a leader, and it was demanded and asked of him to please step down and allow someone else to take over this alliance, and in return, this guy disbanded the alliance and quit the game. So he destroyed an alliance that a lot of folks built together, and he just left the game. I'm not saying Junichi did this, or Skywalker did this, or anyone in here did this, but the matter of the fact was, one individual caused a whole turmoil of situations in Kingdom 58, which changed the balances of power, which changed the alliances and allegiances of people to certain alliances. It became a big mess. A certain particular individual who causes issues, especially if he's a leader or in leadership, can be very, very problematic for the health of a kingdom. Especially when that someone is the leader of an alliance. Because at the end of the day, what ends up happening is he or she either disband or do this, right? Like, just go crazy on a civil war, and that's that. Now, these guys are rallying. There's a counter rally on the rally that's rallying the flag. They are swarming the flag, which has a Constantine Martel in it. This was very personal. This was more of a personal thing than anything else. And it's a problem. It's a problem because, unfortunately, look at the swarm. My goodness. The way you elect your leaders within an alliance and within a kingdom should be in such a way that, well, technically speaking, the person who established the alliance could just become the leader, and that's that. But when there is a situation where alliance leadership is being rotated around, king is being rotated around, things like that are happening, it's important that the people who are part of an alliance are more in sync with what they want to do in the kingdom. In Kingdom 225, what ended up happening is that S225 and W225 slowly kept going more and more apart from each other due to personal conflicts, due to certain disagreements in ways to handle things, in language, in treatment of players, in both sides. It's not that one side was treating players terribly and that's why the other one wanted to be a hero. One side did not agree how other side treated their players. The other side didn't agree with how these players treated, how they treated each other. It just caused a whole lot of personal mess. And that's really what happened here. It was the last drop of the bucket. Someone said something that shouldn't have been said, and all hell broke loose, and they're like, we're done. A lot of you ask me to also talk about who won this civil war. And I tend to not go into who wins the civil war because there is no winner in a civil war. How do you define who won a civil war? Is it the alliance that maintained their control of the kingdom? Is it the alliance that left the kingdom after zeroing a bunch of people out? Who is the winner and who is the loser? What I can tell you is that Junichi and some of his crew are no longer in 225, which was really what W225 were after more than anything else. And so, did they win? I don't think so. I think everyone loses in a civil war. It's just a big mess for no reason. It's fun. It's a lot of warring, but in a game that unites kingdoms to a KVK, to do kingdom versus kingdom events rather than internal fighting, these kinds of things are very problematic. Now, we've been seeing civil wars breaking quite often lately. If you have a civil war that you want me to cover, you know how to hit me up. Down below in Discord, my server is in the description down below. I love covering these things, not because I want to show the kingdoms that are breaking apart, but rather because it's part of the life cycle and culture of our community. And I think that to an extent, it's really cool to see what other alliances are up to, what are the conflicts that they have. It helps us learn how to better manage alliances, better manage kingdoms, and how to do things differently. It gives us an opportunity to see, for example, how your, how would you say it? Your lack of sensitivity to how you say things and how they can be received by the other side can have detrimental losses and issues in a long term. I don't think personally that Junichi is a bad person, primarily because I don't know him. So I'm not going to say he's a good or a bad person. But I definitely think that perhaps the language which he uses, perhaps the way in which he speaks, perhaps the way in which he behaves himself caused a little bit of antagonism, and the same can be said about Skywalker and his side of this fight. I don't like to pick, I tend to not pick sides, and it's not because, the crazy thing is, most of you think I pick a side when I cover a civil war. Man, most of these civil wars are kingdoms that I don't know. This is the only kingdom in a while that I knew someone within it for ahead of time, like before that. 99% of these kingdoms, I come in, I'm in there for like 3-4 hours tops. I talk to as many people as I can. I join 1 or 2 alliances to kind of cover the map in a way that it's like blue and red rather than what you're seeing here. I try to get into both alliances, usually. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I take the stories from everybody and I come up with a video that would be entertaining, that would be informative, that would give you guys a lesson learned, a cool story, and some awesome, awesome battles and reports and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't know anyone anywhere. 411, I believe 411, 422 it was. I don't even remember the numbers of the kingdoms anymore. 369, 225, and all of these different kingdoms that I covered civil wars in. I don't know anyone. I can't pick a side. I haven't picked a side. It's funny because those of you who are part of these kingdoms think that I pick, always think that I pick the other side. It's every single time the same story. PK thinks I take SS's side and SS thinks I took PK's side. It's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Civil wars are a fun, nice little action-packed video where I get an opportunity to talk about the health and the stability of a kingdom, of what goes bad, what goes good, what are things that can be learned, as well as an opportunity to show you guys a little bit of what's happening in the community. I'm working on a bigger project that would perhaps be something that could highlight a lot more positives of things in the community rather than only civil war and mayhem. But for now, what you guys definitely tell me is when people get zeroed and when civil wars break, and so we cover those. I really hope 225 managed to build themselves back up. I really hope those who migrated out of 225 due to this find themselves an awesome new home where they can have fun back in Rise of Kingdoms and not have to bother about the fact that their own backyard is on fire. So it's not a fun thing to go over. It's not fun at all. And it's not really fun to be in an alliance where some of your members went this way, went that way, and then all of a sudden there's conflict and now your friends become your enemies, and it's a big mess. It's no fun. I really hope for 225 that they manage to pull through and they get what they wanted out of all of this and move on to bigger and better things, because KVK is right around the corner and they're going to need to rebuild and rebuild quickly. For now, I'm going to leave you guys with some footage of some awesome Ateltecada rallies on flags and all that good stuff. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys have any other Civil War you want me to cover, let me know in the Discord down below. Also, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all linked down below. I'm active on all of them. Try me, message me there. We've been starting to stream on Twitch as well. We had like a 3-hour stream on Path of Exile, which was super fun. We'll be doing that again. If you feel like doing that, down below in my Discord, you will find the link for my Twitch channel too. I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care. Good luck to all of you, and try to stay out of civil wars. If you don't, hit me up. I got you. Peace.